And the next time somebody tells you that men can't have babies, show them this video.
Hey everybody, Roger here. Hope you guys are all having a great day. Want to talk to you guys about something that I just read about the other day regarding Ilhan Omar, Minnesota's representative. It's in regards to a transgender athlete.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
By the name of JayCee something. Anyways, JayCee is a man, biologically male, who transitioned to a female and competes. And apparently with some new rules and set with USAPL, USA Powerlifting Association, there has been some changes of rules in regards to transgender males to female, basically saying that they cannot compete in that federation. Now there's a couple of reasons for that. One of them is the biological advantage, muscle density, bone density, among other things, and not to also forget certain drugs are not allowed within some of these federations, and there is testing in them. I used to be a powerlifter myself, and so this kind of hits close to home, especially when I looked at the names that that Omar Ilhan was sending this letter to. Yeah, I felt I had to respond. I'm kind of doxing myself here at this point because of a certain bit of understanding of who these people are, at least one of them that she wrote to. And it's I hope you stand your ground on this decision with USAPL, both the executive director and the president of this. And don't give in to this, because what we're seeing right now with a lot of other sports, men are now competing against women and winning state championships.
The 17-year-old Dallas area high school student won the title of champion in the girls' state wrestling competition Saturday. A mix of cheers and boos directed at the wrestler as he fell to his knees, appearing to soak in the win. Then there's the issue of the hormone therapy that would typically be disqualifying. Not in this case, says UIL Deputy Director Dr. Jamie Harrison.
The law is very, very specific that a student who is being administered performance-enhancing drugs by a physician cannot be made ineligible.
Women's rights advocates should be, outraged at something like this, and they're not. Similar to the argument about abortion, where they are okay with late term, even up to and including post-birth, to decide if they want to have an abortion. At that point, the baby's out of the body. But Virginia's senator didn't leave that to the imagination.
There was a very contentious committee hearing yesterday when Fairfax County Delegate Kathy Tran made her case for lifting restrictions on third trimester abortions, as well as other restrictions now in place. And she was pressed by a Republican delegate about whether her bill would permit an abortion even as a woman is essentially dilating, ready to give birth. And she answered that it would permit an abortion at that stage of labor. Do you support her measure, and explain her answer?
Yeah, and I wasn't there, Julie, and I certainly can't speak for Delegate Tran, but I would tell you, first thing I would say, this is why decisions such as this should be made by providers, physicians, and the mothers and fathers that are involved. There are, when we talk about third trimester abortions, these are done with the consent of obviously the mother, with the consent of the physicians, more than one physician, by the way. And it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities, there may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered, the infant would be kept comfortable, the infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired, and then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. So I think this was really blown out of proportion.
And also a couple of other representatives for this bill decided to go ahead and express, yes, this is also included.
Where it's obvious that a woman is about to give birth. She has physical signs of that she is about to give a birth. would that still be a point at which she could request an abortion if she was so certified? She's dilating.
Mr. Chairman, that would be a decision that the doctor, the physician, and the woman would
I understand
make at
that. I'm asking
point.
if your bill allows that.
My bill would allow that, yes.
And now, do you have a response? Why do you think that it's okay for a mother to lead a child into a place to have their body torn to pieces? You don't have an answer, do you? I want you to notice that your position disallows you from having a coaching argument, so you have a cowbell. The Bible says something about that. It says that the bull laughs. This is actually important for the world to see.
So similar to those people defending a woman's right to choose at late stage at that point, they're the same people that actually decide that, or they're the same people that actually think that it's disgusting and despicable when we separate families at the border. Your logic is not adding up, and it's not adding up here. Men are breaking, transgendered men are breaking women's records. This is. If somebody wants to be transgender, that's their thing, but understand and obviously know the differences. Are you still going to be able to give birth? I remember hearing something a couple years back that this first transgender gave birth, but then it turned out to be a woman who transitioned to a man.
Tristan is done with this. I think you could see this is show the bare belly so we can just see that. And nice. Oh my God.
It's huge. It's huge.
Both dad and baby are doing well after this transgender man gave birth to a little boy.
And the next time somebody tells you that men can't have babies, show them this video.
So then everybody said, "Oh, man gave birth." No, it's not really true. It was a woman biologically who turned into a man. There are certain things that no matter how much you scream, yell, and cry about, or fight for, you're just not going to get. And in this case, I think both Priscilla Ribic and Larry Maile, both made the right decisions here. The reasoning behind it is valid and just and goes alongside the rules. Ilhan Omar, it is not discrimination in the least. I do know of a lot of very strong and powerful women powerlifters, and they should compete with themselves there. Same with men. And you obviously know the differences between. There are rare exceptions. There are rare exceptions in powerlifting. I wasn't the strongest in my weight class or whatnot, but I was pretty strong enough to achieve a certain level. And so for that, I'm proud, and I'll take that with me. It's not anything big, but there were some women that were stronger than me, and that's just a fact of life. Some of them were in a higher weight class, some of them were in my weight class, and some of them maybe have been a little bit lower weight class. And this person here who's fighting for this JayCee Cooper, I believe, JayCee Cooper. I think it's her last name. Anyways, his biologically male lifts aren't that impressive in comparison to women that I've seen from what looks like her weight class. If she wanted to compete against other women at the world level. But still, even with that, you bend the rule for one, or you change the rules for one, it's going to be bending all across the board. This makes no sense. Transgenders, understand that there are certain limits. This isn't about discrimination. It doesn't seem that way to me. It seems more or less that you are you're making it worse for, and I'm going to have to use my words carefully here. You're not making it worse, but you're making it challenging for women to rise up and actually believe in themselves, biological women. And there was a track race that I saw where a young man who competed against women.
Terry Miller and Andrea Yearwood dominating the competition at the Girls Track and Field Championships in Connecticut earlier this month, coming in first and second place respectively. And while it was a state race, their wins are making national headlines, not because of what they did, but because of who they are, two transgender girls.
When was the first time that either of you found any kind of opposition to you participating on the girls' team?
I was expecting it, so every day I'll go home, search up Track and Field High School, Terry Miller.
because you wanted to know what people were saying.
Yeah.
Some of those comments were harsh. Critics complaining that Andrea and Terry both have an unfair advantage since they were born boys.
Well, she's a guy, so.
And the woman, after they cross the finish line, you could just see the look on those young girls' faces. Like, you know, some of them are, you know, shooting for a scholarship. Some of them are shooting for, you know, breaking records biologically as a female. It is an unfair advantage. That's what it just comes down to. It's an unfair advantage biologically overall. Priscilla and Larry, I believe Larry, sorry. Yeah, both of you guys need to definitely stand up for this. I'm going to be keeping track of this. I'm going to see what what General Keith Ellison is going to be, how he's going to be approaching this, and I'll be keeping an eye on it. And yeah, I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. I mean, with all these recent sports allowing transgenders to compete, you normally only see, this is what I've seen so far, that is usually the males who transition to female that do this so they can get an edge. Powerlifting, wrestling, track and field, things of that nature. You rarely see a woman get recognized. There was a boxer recently who just had a decisional win against a man, and I'm not sure if this was staged or not, but this man also was 0-8 at the time. He never had a win in his life, but she ended up besting him. I should say he, because she transitioned to a he. Boxing allowed this to happen. That's one rare occurrence. Then you see, I forget who that UFC fighter is that transitioned. She's kicking ass left and right. Again, there are these rare exceptions with women where they will be pound for pound stronger than a man, but in general, that's not the case. And when this federation, if it bends the rules on this, it's going to be pretty chaotic, because then it's going to start allowing certain drugs to come in that are pretty much banned. You can't use, you get tested. You get tested for certain types of steroids, certain types of drugs. And if you are found to have them in your body, now, are you going to be given an exception to trans women? Are you going to be given an exception to trans men? It makes absolutely no sense to make exceptions at all. Powerlifting is not a sport. As they said, powerlifting is not a sport for certain individuals, just like track and field is not a sport for certain individuals, just like boxing is not a sport for certain individuals, just like gymnastics is not a certain sport for some people. You can't have it your way because you're begging and pouting. I mean, to be honest, if anything, your lifts aren't even that impressive to be fighting over this for. Now, give me a man who has, a woman who has transitioned to a man, and make that same argument. We'll see where it goes. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts at this point? Do you think that the Federation should change its rules and start allowing this? But overall, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts in regards to this? Exceptions to all these sports is tearing down the fabric of our nation. It's tearing down the fabric of competitiveness with true women and true men in life, and it's hurting women more than men at this point. All right, like, hate, subscribe, unsubscribe, share, don't share. I love it all. Peace out.